Alright, so I'm going to give each deodorant a sniff test and let you know how it smells and how it smells compared to the soap. Then I'm going to apply the deodorant and let you know how it performs. How long does the scent linger and how long does it protect me from body odor? And I will try to use these while doing certain activities to see how well they perform under different conditions. And after I've tried all 9 deodorants, I will rank them from worst to best. So first up, I'm going to start with one of my favorite Squatch bars, Cool Fresh Aloe. And shout out to YouTube channel Little Mac JTV because I actually won this Cool Fresh Aloe deodorant from a giveaway on his channel. He does a lot of soap reviews and giveaways, so if you're interested in that, you should subscribe to his channel. I'll leave a link in the description. Alright, that is not a very good start. Yeah, you can see that it's already smashed up. It smells pretty good. It may not be quite as strong as the soap, but it has a nice scent for a deodorant. I think if you like the Cool Fresh Aloe bar, I think you'll like the deodorant as well. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and apply it, and then I'll be back in a day or two and let you know how it performed. So I did some work outdoors in the heat, and Cool Fresh Aloe held up pretty well. 14 hours later, I went to bed and I did not have any body odor. But when I woke up 5-6 hours later, I did. So I would say this holds up for 16 to 20 hours before it starts to give body odor. And that's when you worked outside. If I had not done any work outside, then it probably would have fought and lasted longer. But overall, this did seem to work pretty well. Alright, next up is Wood Barrel Bourbon. I actually used this yesterday. Yeah, it smells very similar to the soap. I would say the soap smells better, but this smells pretty good. I applied this early in the day and I did do some work outside. It wasn't in the sun, but it was in the humidity, and the deodorant held up well. I washed it off at night, and when I was in the shower, I still did not detect any body odor. And that had been after probably around 10 to 12 hours. And it would have lasted longer had I not washed it off in the shower. So I say Wood Barrel Bourbon works really well, so if you like the soap, then go ahead and try the deodorant. Alright, so next up is Pine Tar. Let's see how it smells in comparison to the soap. This one is smashed up too. Yeah, this basically smells like the soap. And this one is smashed up too, but I should still be able to use it okay. So I'll go ahead and apply it and I'll let you know how it does. Alright, so it's been just over 20 hours that I applied the Pine Tar, and I still don't detect any body odor. And that includes me being outside in the heat and humidity earlier in the day, and tonight I had to start vacuuming for hours, so you can see that I'm sweating because I just had a flea outbreak from my cats, and I had to spend like the last 3 or 4 hours vacuuming my floors. So I've been up all night doing that. So I applied this about 20 hours ago, and I don't detect any body odor. And as you can clearly see, I am sweating a good bit right now. I don't really smell the pine tar scent, but that's okay. It's blocking the odor, and that's the job of a good deodorant. So regardless of which scent of the Dr. Squatch deodorants you may or may not like, the most important thing is that it does its job and it blocks odor well. Alright, it's the next morning. After I finished vacuuming last night, I had to take a shower and I washed off the remaining pine tar deodorant. When I washed it off, I had had it on for about 21 hours and still no body odor. So not sure how long exactly it would have lasted had I not washed it off in the shower. So this pine tar seems to last for a really long time. And next up we have Fresh Falls. Let me go ahead and give it the sniff test real quick. Alright, and this one hasn't melted at all. Yeah, it smells very similar to the soap. It's just a tad different. The soap smells a little better. I think because of the added ingredients they use in the deodorant, I think that the soaps smell a little better. But this one smells pretty much the same as the soap. Yeah, I'd say this one probably smells the closest to the soap of the other deodorants so far. Yeah, this one smells really close to the soap, and that's really good. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this, and I'll be back later and let you know how it performs. Alright, so it's been about 20 hours now, and no body odor detected. Now the fresh fall scent has faded. I'd say it started fading probably somewhere after about 6 to 8 hours. After applying this one, the scent lingered stronger than the other deodorant so far for me. I'd say even 3-4 hours after I applied it, I could still smell the scent lingering. So far, the other deodorants I used, I haven't really smelled the scent lingering that much. Now, I have not showered since I first applied this because I didn't want to wash it off, but I still don't have any body odor. And I went to bed and I slept about 6 hours, and I recently just got up and I still don't have any body odor. So this one works really well. All right, next up, Bay Rum. Go ahead and give it the sniff test. Now this is funny because Little Mac JTV said that this one smells different than the soap. He says that it actually smells like juicy fruit. That could be a good thing. Juicy fruit has such a good flavor, it just fades so fast when you're chewing it. Fades away after about a minute. But hey, that minute is good while it lasts. Uh-oh, this one melted a little bit here. You can stick these in the fridge if they get like this, and you can also save this, and you can actually peel the deodorant off of here and use it. So although this is annoying, you can still use it, and it's really not that big of a deal. I think it's probably mostly because of the summer heat. Probably in the colder months, it won't do this. But like I said, if you stick it in the fridge, it'll get more solid. And I've even heard some people saying that they like to keep their deodorant in the fridge. I guess probably mostly during the summer months, because you probably don't need to do that during the winter. But anyways, let's go ahead and give this a sniff test. Yeah, this does smell kind of like juicy fruit. Yeah, smells a lot like juicy fruit actually. So Little Mac JTV was right. Yeah, this doesn't really smell like the Bay Rum soap. It really does smell like juicy fruit. It smells good. I like it. But of course, the big test is how well it works. So I'm going to go ahead and apply it, and I'll be back in a day or two and let you know. Okay, and on another quick note, I just applied the Bay Rum deodorant, and after applying it, now it really just smells like the Bay Rum soap. It doesn't really smell like juicy fruit nearly as much as it did. And on another note, some people have said that the Dr. Squatch deodorant will leave streaks on their clothes. And I wanted to bring up a couple tips that some people left in the soap group to help prevent that. Someone said if you only do 3 swipes per armpit, that it won't stain your shirt. Now, I'm not sure how accurate or true that is. I personally have not had any of the deodorant stain my shirt, but I've heard enough people complaining that it did. Also, another tip someone said was just apply the deodorant, but don't put a shirt on for about 20 minutes afterwards. So that won't help if you're in a hurry to leave the house after you apply it, but if you have time and you leave your shirt off for about 20 minutes, then they said it will help. Like I said, I'm not sure how accurate those tips are, but if you're having a problem with the Dr. Squatch deodorant staining your shirt, then you can try them and see if it helps. Okay, so a couple hours after applying the Bay Rum, the scent goes back to juicy fruit. So the scent fluctuates when you use this, but whether it smells like the Bay Rum soap or juicy fruit gum, it smells good. After a few hours, the scent fades and you don't smell it nearly as much. I would say that the scent is really good, but it may be a bit weaker than the others I've tested in this review so far. But regardless of that, it does work well at blocking odor, and like I've said, that's the main purpose of these deodorants. After about the 14-hour mark, I started detecting a little bit of body odor. It wasn't bad, but there was a slight odor there. And now it's about 12 hours past the 14-hour mark. Now it's been about 26 hours. And I don't really smell much body odor, but there's a slight odor. If I was going out, I would definitely want to take a shower, or at the very least, reapply the deodorant. So overall, I really like the Bay Rum deodorant. It may not be quite as strong scent-wise as the other ones, but it does a good job at blocking odor. And actually, so far, all of the Dr. Squatch deodorants that I've tried block odor really well. And on that note, let's go ahead and get on to the next deodorant. Cedar Citrus. Now everyone knows how underwhelming the Cedar Citrus soap is and that there's not much scent to it, but I actually like my deodorants to have a very slight scent. I definitely don't want any loud scents when I put on my deodorant. So if the Cedar Citrus scent is slight, then I may actually prefer that to the stronger scents. So let's go ahead and give this one the sniff test. Get the cap off. Okay, now this one's clean. This one's not melted at all, so good job on that. This is really nice. This is very subtle. A very subtle orange scent. I really like this. So just like the soap, the scent is more subtle than the other deodorants, but it's really nice. I like it because I don't like loud scents for my deodorant. So basically, this just has a very subtle orange scent. And I like it. So I'm going to go ahead and apply it, and I'll let you know in a day or two how it performs. Alright, so it's been about 6 hours since I applied this Cedar Citrus, and as you can see, I'm pretty sweaty as I've been doing some physical work. And I've got to say that so far, out of all the Dr. Squatch deodorants I've used, this one seems to be the weakest, because after 6 hours, I'm already starting to detect body odor. Whereas with all the other ones I used on Squatch, it took way longer before I detected even any kind of slight body odor. So yeah, I'd say so far, Cedar Citrus is the weakest of the bunch. I do like this orange scent, but if it doesn't do its job and block body odor the way it's supposed to, then it doesn't really matter how good the scent is. So far, I'm going to say that Cedar Citrus is the weakest Dr. Squatch deodorant. Alright, next up, Alpine Sage. If you've been keeping up with my Dr. Squatch reviews, you'll know that Alpine Sage has been one of my least favorite scents in the Dr. Squatch catalog. So I am not expecting to care for this one much, but I'm going to give it a chance. Even though I'm probably not going to like the scent, I'll still give it a try and see how well the deodorant works. And go ahead and give it the sniff test. Okay, so this one is not melted at all. So that's good. Yeah, this scent I think is a little better as a deodorant than the soap. It's a little stronger, I think. This deodorant scent seems a little spicier than the soap to me for some reason. Well, I've said I don't like the scent of the soap, but I could tolerate this scent for the deodorant. Now the question is how well it performs. So I'm going to go ahead and apply it, and I'll be back in a day or two and let you know. Alright, it's the next day. I applied this Alpine Sage about 18 hours ago and no body odor. But for this test, I didn't do any physical activity, so I'm sure that's a factor. Yeah, not even a hint of body odor right now. And I think if I didn't do any physical activity, that this would continue to block odor for a good while longer. And although I don't like the Alpine Sage soap, I really do like this scent as a deodorant. The scent smells a little spicier to me than the soap, and it just works really well as a deodorant. So this Alpine Sage seems to work really well. And just to clarify, I have been using 4 to 5 swipes per arm when testing these deodorants. Alright, Freedom Fresh. I actually already made a more detailed review for Freedom Fresh when it first came out. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check that out. But just to recap what I think about Freedom Fresh, I think it works really well as a deodorant, and the scent is much better as a deodorant than it is for the soap. Freedom Fresh has a very subtle scent, and for the soap, it's pretty weak. But for the deodorant, I think it works just right. because I actually prefer more subtle scents for my deodorant. So when I tested Freedom Fresh, the scent lingered for a good 4 to 6 hours after I applied it. And it did a really good job at blocking body odor. So this Freedom Fresh deodorant is really good, and I think way better than the soap. So that leads us to our last deodorant, the one I've been dreading, Birchwood Breeze. As most of my viewers know, I hate the scent of Birchwood Breeze. It's one of my very least favorite in the entire Dr. Squatch catalog. So I really didn't want to try this one, but I'm going to for the sake of this review. Now, when I first smelled the soap out of the package, I thought the scent was okay. It didn't bother me that much. But then once I lathered it up and used it in the shower, the scent got way stronger and made me nauseous. So what I'm hoping is that the deodorant is more like the soap was out of the package, more so than how it was after it was lathered up. Because if the Birchwood Breeze deodorant isn't nearly as strong as the soap was after I used it in the shower, then maybe I can tolerate this deodorant. So let me go ahead and give this the sniff test. Okay, it's clean, so that's good. I don't really like it, but I don't hate it as much as the soap. At least that's my first impression, how I feel before applying it. If this is a little on the weaker side, I won't hate it nearly as much as the soap. Yeah, I'm really not feeling this scent. So, unfortunately, I'm going to go ahead and apply this, and then I'll be back in a day or two and let you know how well it performed. Alright, so it's the next day, and I have good news and bad news. First off, the bad news, which should come as no surprise, as I really don't like the scent of this. Immediately after putting it on, I regretted my decision, and the stinky scent of Birchwood Breeze was on me all day. So that's the bad news for me and for any others who don't like the scent of Birchwood Breeze. But the good news for those of you who do like Birchwood Breeze, this works really well. The scent lingers for a really long time. It was probably 10 to 12 hours after I applied it, and I could still smell it. And I didn't detect any body odor. And then I went to bed and I slept around 7 hours or so, and when I got up, I still didn't detect any body odor. And I could even still smell the Birchwood Breeze scent lingering. So the deodorant works really well at blocking body odor. But unfortunately for me, I won't be using this because I hate the scent. But if you like the scent of Birchwood Breeze, you should definitely get this because it works really well. But let's go ahead and get these ranked from worst to best. Number 9 and number 8 are going to be a tie between Birchwood Breeze and Cedar Citrus. Birchwood Breeze because I hate the scent, and Cedar Citrus because it was the weakest deodorant out of the bunch. If you like the scent of Birchwood Breeze, then this should be at the top of your rankings. But if you don't like the scent of Birchwood Breeze, it should be at the bottom. Cedar Citrus, on the other hand, I do like the nice subtle scent, but it was really weak. Like it was wearing off after a few hours. Now it could be possible maybe I didn't apply as much as the others and I didn't realize it. That could be a possibility, so you can try it for yourself and see. But as far as I could tell, it was the weakest out of all the other Dr. Squatch deodorants. So this would be the worst for performance, and this would be the worst for scent. Okay, so for the next 7, I actually do like all of them, so none of these are bad. But I'm just going to rank the ones that I prefer to the others. Number 7, Bay Rum. I do like the scent of this. It does fluctuate between the Bay Rum soap and Juicy Fruit gum. But the reason I have this one ranked lower than the others is because this one doesn't seem to last as long as the others. It doesn't seem to perform as well. The scent seemed to fade faster than the others. But like I said, it could be maybe I applied a little less and didn't realize it. So you can test these out for yourself and see which ones work best for you. I do like this one. It just seemed to me like it didn't perform quite as well as the others. Number 6, I'm going to say Freedom Fresh. I do like this one a lot. It's way better than the soap, but I still do prefer the other scents to this one. It does perform really well, so I do recommend you trying it for yourself. Number 5, Cool Fresh Aloe. I do like this scent a lot and it does perform pretty well, but I just prefer the other scents a little more. Number 4, Wood Barrel Bourbon. Now I do prefer the soap scent to all these other soaps that I have here, but the deodorant and the soaps smell a little different, and this deodorant version just doesn't smell quite as good to me as the soap. I do like it, it's just that I like some of these others a little better. And it does perform well, so that's the most important thing. Now if you do like the Wood Barrel Bourbon soap, then I do recommend you try the deodorant. It's just that I like the soap a lot better than this deodorant scent, but this does perform really well. Alright, time for the top 3. Honestly, these could be in any order. I don't really like any of these better than the others. I think they're all really good. And I actually prefer these 3 to the others in the bundle. All 3 of these do a really good job performance-wise at blocking body odor, and that's the most important thing when you're using these deodorants. So honestly, I would rank Pine Tar, Alpine Sage, and Fresh Falls at the top. But for the sake of this video, I'll try to decide. Okay, so for number 3, I would choose Alpine Sage. This smells way better as a deodorant than the soap. This actually smells a bit stronger than the soap. And this is one of those scents that works really well as a deodorant. And in all honesty, the Birchwood Breeze does work really well as a deodorant too. It's just I can't stand the scent personally. This scent probably lingered longer than all of the other deodorants. This Alpine Sage deodorant is a little spicier than the soap. And like I said, the scents of the soap and deodorant are slightly different. I am guessing because they have to use different ingredients to make the deodorant and the soap. So even though they're very similar, they're not quite identical. And so that's why I may hate the Alpine Sage soap, but I actually really like the Alpine Sage deodorant. When I applied this, it lingered throughout the day, and it worked really well at blocking odor, and it just had a nice subtle scent that I liked. So even though Wood Barrel Bourbon is one of my top favorite scents in the entire Dr. Squatch catalog, the Alpine Sage works better as a deodorant in my opinion. And then for number 2 and number 1, I'd probably put Pine Tar and Fresh Falls together, but if I had to choose one, I think I'd probably choose Fresh Falls, but this really is about as good. So these are probably my top 2 favorite of the Dr. Squatch deodorants. 1A, 1B. Also, when you smell these out of the container like this, they're a bit stronger than after you apply it and smell it on yourself. Once you apply it on yourself, the scents settle down and they become more subtle, and I like them a lot more. Like smelling this out of the container, I'm not crazy about it, but once I apply it to myself and smell it throughout the day, it smells really good. Same with the Fresh Falls. So if I had to pick, I would rank Pine Tar number 2 and Fresh Falls number 1. Even though I do like them about the same, and they both work really well performance-wise at blocking body odor. So overall, after testing all 9 Dr. Squatch deodorants, I do recommend them. I think they all performed really well, with the exception of Cedar Citrus. And this one probably will work better if you give it an extra couple swipes. So that's about it for this rankings review. Let us know in the comments which ones are your favorites and which ones are your least favorites. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and God bless.